Hello watchers, and welcome to this episode of the Disney Dollhouse Build with me. We're going to be doing issue 99, 100, our 100th episode, 101, 102 and 103. Only 120 in total, so almost there. So as always, let's have a flip through the magazine. So we're going to be doing some more windows. More windows. All about Winnie the Pooh's honey pots. Profiling Jessie and profiling Jack Jack. And then the usual blurb on the back. So let's get stuck into the assembly. Or actually no, let me show you the decorative items first. I am always so impressed by these honey pots for Winnie the Pooh's room, because they are tiny, but they are so heavy. I don't know if I can show you how heavy they are on camera. It's the sound, or getting away in scale. But they are metal, but they are just lovely. I mean, look at this little honey pot with the handle, and then the lid that comes off. And then we've got a couple of these anyway, these actual honey jars, which are just lovely. And again, the lid comes off, and they're metal as well. So we've got two of those. And then we've got an actual little candlestick that I always remember seeing Winnie the Pooh with his little nightcap on, holding a candle. So it must be in one of the movies or something that I've seen where he does that. But that is just delightful. Absolutely delightful. So yeah, very nice. So yeah, let's get on with all of these. Now, we had a couple anyway from the previous episode, and I think the windows for all of the bays that goes over Mickey's and Ariel's rooms. So yeah, let's get on with that. So I'm just going to show you one. I've shown you in a previous episode anyway, but I'll just show you again, because this issue is very repetitive. And then I'll skip to the rest, otherwise this video ends up being hours upon hours long, which is a nightmare for editing, and 9 times out of 10 people aren't going to watch it. It's like watching paint dry. So yeah. So as always, peel the film off the acetate perspex screen. Do it for 2 of them. Okay, and then we want our glue. Remembering always to keep Yoo-hoo facing up rather than down, otherwise you get Yoo-hoo glue absolutely everywhere, whereas it can't do it when it's fighting against gravity. So what I do is just squeeze up just a little, and then just dip the tips in it, and then that seems to be more than enough without getting glue on absolutely everything. Then simply click them in place, and then that's your first sash panel, and then just repeat the process. So there, those are for the other 2 windows. So with these, you want to get 2 of the vertical beams, keeping the pins towards you, and then again keeping the pins towards you, you want to glue these together so they follow the mold. So again, just adding a little bit of glue, squishing it together, and doing the other side as well. And getting rid of any extra glue. And then you want to pop in sash windows. Yep, so making sure it slides to the top. And you want to glue in the bottom bits. Again, keeping all the pins on the same side. Should look something like that, and then we take one of the turquoise frames, put some glue in the top part, top hole, and then the bottom hole, and just simply making sure that the sash window is at the top where the decorative feature is, and it should just fit very snugly in there, and then just pop the window on there, and then repeat the process twice, and then they're ready to use at a later date. Okay, so now we've got our 3 frames. So 1, 2, 3. So we've got 6 in total, 3 from I think issue 98. So let's just move those to the side for now. And let's move on with issue 100. This feels like an achievement, but the true achievement will be 120. So let's have a flick through the magazine. So yep, we're going to be working on some exterior walls for the bay windows. And some more wallpapering. Ooh, clang clang. Disney's Donald Duck Fire Chief from 1940. Very nice. Never seen that before. And then we've got the Magic of Disney, all about Lumiere. And then the Magic of Disney profiling Chicken Little. And the usual blurb on the back. Let me show you the decorative items first. So we've got the coat stand, or hat stand, from Beauty and the Beast, and this is just delightful. I didn't even know we were getting this, but that is fabulous. I mean, even just the tilt of the hat is just it's fantastic. And of course we've got a little faceless Lumiere as well, which is just fabulous. We've got these 2 bits pre-made for us, and then some wallpaper bits. So let's get on with doing that. Okay, so the right way up is for these circular bits to be at the bottom. Yeah, like so. And then we're going to stick that wallpaper on that side. And then that wallpaper on that side. And that one on there. And then that one on there as well. So the first thing they want you to do is to get rid of the white line on the wallpaper on the Little Mermaid's room. So going down like so. And then they want us to stick this one on here. But they don't exactly say how. Ah, right, okay, I see. So they want you to line it up with the protrusion, and then along the bottom, so it's just level with the holes there. And flip it over and cut the window out. Then we've got that. I've unfortunately ripped it a little bit there because it is a bit difficult to cut with the protrusion. Then I'm just going to fold over the excess. And then doing the same with Mickey's wallpaper, but keeping it level with the bottom of the holes there. and then folding over the white edge. And then we've got one side done. And then basically repeat the process on the other side. And then that's it for this issue. Quick and simple. Relatively painless. So let's move on with 101. As always, let's have a quick flick through. So we're still working on the bay window. The assembly instructions. So we'll be fixing all of the windows as well. Another World of the Doll's House, the enjoyment of dolls' houses. And then profiling Maleficent. And then the usual blurb on the back. But let's have a quick look at the decorative items first. And we've got a couple of photo frames for the aristocrats room. The aristocrats, cats, which are very nicely done. The pictures inside are quite plain, but you could always change those up anyway. But yeah, they're just lovely. The detail on the frame is. So let's get on with the assembly. So we've got all these bits. Let's just pop those on the thing there. We've got a little bit more wallpapering to do on this one. Okay, so with the Little Mermaids, it's basically lining it up to here and then along the top of the holes. And then the same with Mickey's as well. Take off the white strip, otherwise it's too long. Around the corner. And then again, leveling it up just below the holes and along the side here. Making sure it's really flat as well. No bubbles. Okay, so now we've got 3 walls of the bay. Okay, so. So that's the middle bay window, and then they're the 2 sides with the protruding angles, so it will hopefully fit like that. So the first thing they want us to do is to stick and glue that into place. I'm just going to put a little bit of Yoo-hoo on both of the sides here, only a tiny bit. And stick it in. Then they want you to put glue on the other sides and put them all in place. Yeah, these need to look fun. That's where it's even. Good. Okay, so it should look something like that, all nice and tight. And then we need to put these ones on, this one on the top as well. So just pop some glue. On the contacts. And then do the same on the bottom. Just bearing in mind this profile needs to be this side. So now it's flip round. So that looks rather lovely already, but now we're going to put in the windows. So we simply slot them into place. And flip over the board, pop the other window in, and then we just need to pop a little bit of glue on these pins and then push it all together. So I'm going to do it this way, which is basically putting glue on these bits rather than the pins. Like so. You should hear click, 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 click as they all go around. Yeah. So first window in. Okay, so that is the bay window, relatively complete, but look how fabulous that looks. That's pretty cool. So then the last thing that we need to do is put this strip onto the wall. So yeah, pop glue all the way up these edges because they hug the MDF that's there. And just simply slot it into place all the way up. So that's it for this issue. And let's have a flick through of issue 102. So in this one we've got lots of decorative items for Cinderella. And we're going to be attaching some of the finishing walls to the exterior of the building. And then we've got a profile of Captain Hook. And the magic of Disney, all about Baloo the bear. And the usual blurb on the back. So let's have a look at the accessories. So first up we've got some perfume bottles, which are very nicely done and detailed as per usual. And then we've got some cushions, actual squishy fabric cushions, which are very nice indeed. And then we've got a rug with lots of gold tasseling, but this one feels like it's got a little bit of squishiness in this one. But that is very nicely done and detailed as well. I've just noticed the carriage is actually embroidered on there. That is just amazing. I love all these teeny tiny details that you find throughout this. You don't realise they're there until you really look. So these are the exterior bits that we've got. So let's get on with the build for this issue. I didn't realise I wasn't recording, but I've just stuck the bit on there and I've just glued up the brown bit that goes on the top like so. So it's very simple but very effective. So putting those exteriors on. And I want you to do the same with the Little Mermaid's bathroom upstairs. So yeah, that one should go on the top there. And that on the top there. So they fit very snugly in place anyway without glue, but best safe than sorry. There we go. Very lovely indeed. I'm just gluing that on. And I can just stuck in place, leveling it off with the plastic there. With that bit of that glue there. And this bit up here. It's supposed to go that way. Always remember with these bits, the blue strip down. So yeah, just put some glue in this strip there. And I like to put a tiny bit along the top as well, and a bit along the bottom. So just pop it in place, and then slide it into the correct position. Yep, so make sure all your angles are correct on this side and then on that side as well. And how lovely is that compared to the plain MDF? That is just lovely jubbly. So then the next thing we're going to do is pop on the frames. So these are very simple. Just pop some glue in the top here and then at the bottom as well. And then where the notches are, just simply slot it. Oh, that might be the top window. Yeah, it is. So there is a difference in the heights of the windows. So the top ones are taller, and then the bottom one, same principle. How lovely is that? It's all coming together. Okay, so the next thing to do is to attach the exterior walls on here, but making sure they match up with the ones here. So let's put some glue on that. Yeah, I'm happy with that position. And then the same with the brown one on the top. You didn't see that. But yeah, squishing it quite a little bit, which is what I did not do. And then with the brown on the top as well. You can tape them into position if you need to as well. Brown one. On top, and then the bottom piece along there as well. So yeah, well, that is exterior walls finished for this issue, and that's it for this episode. So yeah, very happy to see everything coming along nicely now. I'm starting to see the finishing things. I mean, when the roof was finished, that was quite impressive, but now we're getting to the actual final thing all coming together, which is getting very exciting. But yeah, that's it for this issue. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.